I've got too many books, and embarrassingly, I have not read a large percentage of these books. And after doing some quick maths, it turns out in this bedroom alone, I've got 217 books, and I've only read 27 of them. So I've come to the tough decision to get rid of a large percentage of my unread books. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why I'm getting rid of these books, but I'm also going to document the journey and show you where I'm taking these books to. Because not only am I going to give these books away, but I also believe I'm giving them away to a better cause, to people that maybe need these books more than I do and will cherish the books more than I will as well. Before we get into the nitty-gritty and the fun stuff in this video, if you are returning to this channel, thank you so much, I truly appreciate it. Now, if you are new to this channel, if you're here for pretty aesthetics and all that normal stuff that you get on BookTube, please keep scrolling. However, if you are here for real life and a mentally unstable man who just loves to talk about books, welcome. Don't forget to flick that subscribe button wherever it is. Before I get into the meat and veg of this video, I just said meat and veg, I want to talk to you about why I'm doing this video. So I did a video on my other socials yesterday about the scary fact that 1 in 7 primary schools in the UK have no library or library area, which means about 460,000 kids have no access to books, which is just such a scary stat. And then it got me thinking, actually, I bet there's a lot of adults out there who've just got no access to books other than from the local library, because buying brand new books is expensive. So the main reason I want to get rid of a lot of these books is because they've been sat on my shelf for months at a time, and I probably would at some point have got around to reading them, but I just don't know when. And I feel like there's other people out there that'll probably enjoy these books now rather than in 3 or 4 months' time. Now, another more selfish reason that I'm getting rid of a lot of these books is because when I look around my bedroom, I can just see books everywhere. And although it's not a bad problem to have, it's also quite daunting, not knowing what book to read next, not knowing where to start. It's just scary. So I also want to just give my mind a bit of a mental declutter and just make managing my own personal TBR a bit easier. But lastly, I think what else encouraged me to do this video is I watched a video by Grace Maguire yesterday on her TikTok. And she was talking about consumerism. And although I always say to her on my videos, like, you know, I'm not aesthetic, I don't buy myself new clothes, new trainers, things like that, I do often go out and I buy a lot of books. Now, although I buy most of my books from charity shops and I do go to my local library, I've also got a lot of books in this house that I could read. So I want to try maybe consuming a little bit less in a sense of buying the books physically. Support my local libraries, because I think if we don't use them, we'll lose them. I'm going to keep buying from charity shops, but I just want to read what I've physically got. Now, I understand that if I only bought books from charity shops and read books at libraries, that I'm not going to be able to support my favourite authors. So what I've always done and what I plan to continue doing is getting a lot of my books from libraries and from charity shops. And if there is a book that I've absolutely adored and I want to keep, I'll then go out to Waterstones and I'll buy that book at full price. A lot of you may not know, you get your books discounted, so places like the Works and things. I'm a big advocate for going out there and getting a deal, but you just need to be aware that when you do get your books discounted, a lot of the time the author will also get, let's say, a discounted percentage. So if they're getting 15% at full price, if you buy it at half price, they'll get 15% at the half price. So I try my best when I've got a bit of spare change to buy books at full price just to try and support the author, because these publishing houses take a chunk of the money away from them, frustratingly. Now, there's only one rule for this challenge, if that's what you want to call it. I think it's a bit of a challenge. Once I have separated the books that I'm going to get rid of and the books that I'm going to keep, I am not allowed to buy another book, physical book, until I have read every other book that I've decided to keep. And don't forget to watch till the end when I tell you which books I decide to keep and which books I decide to yeet. At this point, you're probably just bored and want me to shut up and get to separating what I'm keeping and what I'm not keeping. So I'll go through a few of these stacks with you, talk to you about these books, and then I'll work through the rest. I've actually got another bookshelf over there as well, but I'm not going to make you sit here for an hour while I go through them all. So I'll go through the first few, and then I'll try and make some sort of like pretty spreadsheet so you can see exactly what I've kept and what I've not kept. I don't keep many book trophies. I think the only series that I've really kept since forever is Harry Potter. So there aren't many books that I've read and then decided to keep, but there's just a few on here that I probably will keep. Now, I've not read many classics, but these 3 here were sent to me by Chiltern Publishing. We've got The Great Gatsby, we have Peter Pan, and we have Black Beauty. They also sent me 2 more, but the other 2 they sent me, I am going to give away, and I'll tell you why. So these 3, I think I might enjoy. I've not read them yet, but I'm going to keep them just because I might enjoy them. The 2 that I am going to give away, that they sent me, are Dracula and Pride and Prejudice. Now, these are going to go to a charity shop. I understand that I could probably sell these online and get a quick buck. However, that's not part of this video. I'm going to be giving everything away to a greater cause in this video. Deal Breaker by Harlan Coben. I think I will read that at some point. This is so difficult already. A.J. Rich, I'll read that. Jack Jordan, Conviction, I'll read that. Deadfall, A.K. Turner, I'll read that. We'll give these away. Assassin's Blade and the one, Throne of Glass. I've already read this series, and I bought them because they were the original covers. And it's just a stupid reason to buy them. I just think someone might get more joy out of these books than me, so we'll give them away. Jones and the Six, we'll keep that. Sharila Penna, The Couple Next Door, I'll get rid of that. Written in Blood. I'm not getting rid of this because I've not read it yet, and Chris Carter's an absolute G, and I will read this definitely. Eve Harwood, The Dark Touched. Now, any books that have been sent by like indie authors or ARC reads, I will be keeping them just because, one, others have sent me the books and I'm not going to give them away. Another indie author, You Can Stay. American Dirt, I've read that. You Can Go. Shadow of the Wind Can Go, I've read that. Karen Slaughter, False Witness. Now, I've not read this. I got it from a charity shop, but it's been with me so long that I'm going to give that away as well. This was sent to me by an author, so I'm keeping this. How to Write a Book. How to Read a Book. Oh, this I can't give away. I got this yesterday from the library. By the way, when I got this from the library, I had no idea I was doing this. So I've got only 1 book at the minute from the library. This book. But the library is a big issue for me because I've got all these books here and I could have read any of them. But yesterday I was like, I want a nice book, something different. So I went to the library, started reading synopsises, and I was like, this sounds good. This is about a boy that has got daddy issues. And if you have subbed to this page for a while, you know I got me some daddy issues. So I read it and I was like, oh, his dad don't love him either. Oh, let's cry together. Daddy, please love me. Oh, so yeah, I'm like 4 chapters into this book so far. I'm on chapter 4. Yes, I've dog-eared a library page because I dog-ear my own pages. But before I carry on, this book is fantastic. So it is about a young boy who's got epilepsy, but when he was a kid, his parents just played it off. He went to doctors and they were like, no, we don't think there's anything wrong for you. Then when he turns 15, I think he's 15, he has an epileptic fit. And then he goes to hospital, comes home, and his mum's like, look, keep it quiet from everyone at school because people think you're a bit different. They're going to pick on you. So he's like, right, okay. But the book of it suggests that him and his dad are going to like have a coming together. So the epilepsy is going to bring him and his dad closer together. Now, I think for me, this is going to slap. Because I read, what's her name? Claire Keegan. I read 2 days ago, I read Foster by Claire Keegan, and that book was just absolutely fabulous. 5-star for me, absolutely adored it. But I think it was because of the sense of family, found family. Like, if you've not read that book, it's insane. It's about a girl who lives in Ireland. Her parents are pregnant, and I know I'm procrastinating now, but hey-ho. Her parents to get rid of her. So they're like, look, we're pregnant and you're eating too much food and we're poor, so you can go and live with a relative. Then she goes to this relative's house and relative's like right nice to her. And then all the way through, she's kind of like when's stuff going to go wrong? They're being nice to me, but I just don't understand it. I'm not used to this because she was like emotionally neglected from her own family. So she spends the summer with this family. And then at the end of it, she's like, do I really have to go back? But I'm not going to tell you what happens anyway, like at the end, like, just read it. It's 87 pages, and it just emotionally destroyed me. I was like, how on earth can a book that's 87 pages just ruin me so much? But again, I got daddy issues, so I was like, I want me that. Like, I wish I had a dad as cool as me when I was young. Actually, if my dad had just stayed, that would have been a success. This is not a page about trauma with my dad, so I'll just shut up now. So yeah, if you've not read Foster by Claire Keegan, read it. If you've not read this, I'm 4 chapters in, you should just read it. Will say I'm pretty proud of myself so far because my keep pile is actually substantially smaller than my yeet pile. That's what we'll call it. Keep pile, yeet pile. Bear in mind, these shelves here are double stacked, so you've got all these here, then behind them, and then I've got a Billy bookshelf over there from IKEA that's also full of books. So after I've done them all, I'll do, like I said, a big spreadsheet, and then I'll write every book that I own, and then I'll put a big cross through them to make it look right aesthetic and clever, so you know what I'm getting rid of and what I'm keeping. Fourth wing, I'm keeping that, because that's me, look. That's me breathing fire, because dragons breathe fire. And then on back it says, Read it, it's got dragons, and it's his book his dad reads. So Parrots and Pets sent me this, so I can't get rid of it, because it's like a personalised book. Never Lie by Frida McFadden, only got that recently, so I'm keeping that. This keep pile's getting a bit bigger. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. I'm going to get rid of that, because I've finished it. Flowers of Elgranon, that's a new one, so I'm keeping that. The Palestine-Israeli Conflict, keeping that, because I'm reading a chapter a day of that. Inked Blood Sister Scribe, it's going to kill me, but I'm going to get rid of that because it's been on my shelf for over a couple of months and it's just not fair. Not fair. It feels lonely. I'm so lonely. And Deadly Education, we'll keep that because I do love me some dark academia. So that's it. I'm now going to shut up and I'm going to work through all these books. I don't know how long it's going to take me. If I see any books that like really reel my heart and make my heart bleed, then I'll stop and tell you and we can have a cry together. These are difficult. These are probably most difficult so far. So we've got a nice edition of The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, and then a fit copy of Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch. But I'm going to get rid of them because I prefer reading paperback, and I've got the paperback versions of both. I just bought these because I was depressed and I needed a dopamine hit, so I spent money on books, and it picked me up a bit, but it's not picking me up anymore, so I'm going to give them away. I think I'm done, and although it might seem like I've not given a lot away, I just can't, I think I'm going to read the rest of these. Let me show you what I've got. So this is a problem that I'm having. So top shelf here, Eragon, Harry Potter, I'm not getting rid of these. These are the Jim Kay illustrated versions. Dragon Rider I've not read yet, but I probably will read it. Fire with Fire, I feel like you're going, because although, again, this is another one. I kept this because it's fit. How fit's that book? Sprayed edges, fit. I'm going to get rid of it. Legends and Lattes, Bookshops and Bonedust. Got to keep them because they're like fit versions and I really enjoy them, so I'll probably reread them at some point. I said probably. I mean, I will reread them. Not read Jade War, so I've not read Greenbone Saga yet, but I want to. I've not finished the Poppy War trilogy yet, but I want to. Nevernight series by J. Christoph. Keeping it. Now this one here, Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary. I've read it, but I'm keeping it because I adore that book. This is another Game of Thrones book, and that's going. The Faithful and Fallen series has got to stay because I've not read it yet and I've only received it recently. Down a shelf, what we got here? Claire Douglas. I'm keeping this book because I've not read her stuff yet and I'm told she's right good. First Law Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, I'm keeping that because I've not read it. Gentleman Bastard series is staying because I still need to read book 2 and 3. Keep. Will I read all these? Yes. Independent author, so you're staying. Eragon series I've not read yet and I do want to read. I've not read this yet, this is still sealed. Daniel L. Jansen. I'm keeping that because I really like Faith Inked in Blood, and if it's as good as that, then yeah, we'll keep it. So, Hunger Games down here, what we got? Keep Robin Hobb, not read that yet. I'm going to keep The Inheritance Cycle. I'm going to keep Lord of the Rings and Hobbit because, yeah, I want to try it. Institute, so this is another Stephen King I want to try. And also Green Mile, but if I don't enjoy them, then I'm just going to give up on Stephen King because he's a bit of a waffler and he just goes on and on and on. So other than that, I think that's fair. A couple of thrillers, some historical fiction, non-fiction, oh shoot. And then the Red Rising series. Now, I think that's pretty fair, and you might say otherwise, but I just feel like I want to read them. And this has been a tough, like, I am a bit of a book hoarder. I like looking at books, I like keeping books, I like knowing I've got loads of books. But, yeah, it can also get overwhelming. Now, some of you might watch this video and be thinking, well, why have you got all them books if you're not going to read them? I'm suffering with depression. I have mental health problems. And sometimes when I need a dopamine hit, instead of going for a run, which I know I should do, I go and buy a book from a charity shop because it makes me feel all warm inside. But I'm trying to find a healthier way to get a dopamine hit. So that's one reason why I've got them, but another reason, and I'm massively grateful, is that a lot of authors send me books for free. Publishing houses send me books, so they might have been sent by publishing houses, or people have given me off my wish list. Now, if someone's given me these books off my wish list, if I've read them, I'll give them away. If I haven't read them, I'm not going to give them away yet, just out of principle. They've spent their hard-earned money, and I will always give them books a go. But here, look, sometimes this sign says we can't take books. Thankfully today, it says we can't take DVDs, so, bloody hell. These bags are heavy, I'll tell you that. So they've got all these, and you'll see, up here, I don't know if you can see it, let's have a look. 4 for £1, just up there somewhere. But they've got all these here, all these down here, and then all this entire road down here. There's loads, absolutely loads. And I'll be honest, it's absolutely killing me today to come out here and see all these books and not be able to buy one.
So we get lots of books every day.
Yeah.
The stock changes constantly. We don't make a massive amount of money from it, but it's more the recycling for us, and obviously getting people reading is very important. We get books of all kinds, whether it be hardbacks, paperbacks. We get revision books, you know, so if somebody's just recently done their exams, they've made use of all those SAT books and stuff like that, and then they just bring them in here.
Is that what's on front till? Because you've got... They're like individually priced.
Yeah, so we get all those sort of stuff. Also get the classics. We get, you know, we've had the odd first edition. We've had signed books from like the 1800s. I think one of the ones that sticks out in my mind is Mrs. Beaton's cookbook.
Okay, yeah.
And I think we got about 100 quid for it. It was a really, really early one, which was fabulous. Bibles, obviously. We get everything. Books. We even get foreign language. There's everything here, just because of the sheer amount of donations. So we get probably one of these tubs full every day.
Fair chunk of
So
books.
it is a fair chunk of books, and like I say, and you can see the quality.
Yeah.
You know, it's great stuff. We don't really put anything out that's not fit for purpose. So any ripped books, any yellowed pages and stuff like that, we don't tend to put that out.
What happens to them?
So we have a company that recycles them.
Yeah.
So they come in once a week. They collect all our excess books. And they go abroad, they go all over the world, they go to Philippines, they go to, as far as I know, and different countries for them to make use of, and anything else they can't resell gets properly recycled.
Do they charge you to recycle them? Or do you...
We get paid a very small fee.
Oh, so
so at least we're getting something, you know, we try not to throw anything away as possible.
Yeah.
It's all about recycling here. And you know, for us, I read a lot, and it's great. So, you know, the latest, I can't remember his name, my wife reads him all the time, the guy off Pointless.
It's not Richard Osman, is it? Is it?
It is, yeah.
Richard Osman,
So I mean, the really popular books, you'd think you wouldn't get hold of, but they're so popular that people just read them and then you get them here. So normally, we're able to, you know, see a brand new hardback within about a week, 2 weeks of it coming out. So, you know, it's great for stuff like that. So, we get everything, absolutely everything. You wouldn't believe all the stuff that comes in here. Obviously, because of the amount we have to get them in and get them out as quickly as possible, just because the sheer amount, because we can have donation-wise, not just books, but bric-a-brac and, as you can see, lots of other items, between 10 and 15 tonnes every week, which is probably about 150 of these tubs every single week we process. And a lot, you know, probably one of those a day's books, so probably about 6, 7, 8 of these tubs every week is just books and media. We do the 4 for £1.
Yeah.
We have tried different ways of doing it, like did 10 for £1, but people find it hard to get their money for 10 for £1, and they come to the till and say they can only find 9. We have, like, when it's World Book Day and stuff like that, we give a book away with every purchase if it's Child Book Day or whatever, so we try and do that. We also, if anybody comes in asking for books, any local schools and stuff like that, we have helped out with stuff like that. The weirdest request I've had is it was a big book event that was local to here, and he wanted a couple of thousand books to make a big massive book arch. And obviously he came here because he knew we get the most donations, and we managed to sort it out because we just had that hanging around the store. So that's probably the strangest request I've had.
And then
any member of the homeless or anybody in need can basically come here. We don't ask any questions. If they're in need, we can give them a hot drink. If we've got food available, which we do have sometimes, we've got a food bank, we try and give food out. Like I say, we don't ask any questions. What their situation is. We're just trying to help. We've got down in the back we keep sleeping bags, clothing, so they can come, they can get some underwear, they can get a change of clothing, they can get a coat, they can get a sleeping bag, they can get a hot drink, they can get some food, but also we've got that community area, so if they want to chat or just, you know, to sit down, they'll sit in the community area, and then you'll notice them going through the DVDs and the books and stuff like that. And
so some will sit and just read books?
Some will, some will sit there and just mooch through the books.
What's that fridge in the corner?
So if we get any, like, we're part of a local community group. So any excess food, whether it be Marks and Spencers or whatever, Tesco, they're all part of that group. So say they've got a load of, I think one of the funniest ones, we had a load of M&S trifles that were going out of date, and they know, because we've got the fridge and we get so many people in, even if it's like got to be done today and used by today, if they bring it in, drop 30, 40, 50 trifles off, we can refrigerate them and give them out that day, and rather than going into a landfill.
Amazing. He was a cracking bloke, weren't he? So that was Lee, who is the manager at Salvation Army in Chesterfield. Now, I got a lot of messages after doing my other charity shop video from people in Chesterfield saying I had no idea Salvation Army were down here. And it's because it's on the outskirts of town. So if you do live local, yes, it is here. It's where Lidl used to be, at bottom of town near Mecca Bingo. But off camera, we were both talking about snobbery, and I'm guilty. I used to be one of them people that'd be like, I'm not buying from a charity shop. It's, just cheap, horrible, old tatty stuff. And I think we've all been there. We're all guilty sometimes of just being a bit snobby. And I don't think that makes you a bad person, but I think as a man, I can assure you now, the amount of dirty men that I see coming out of bathrooms, public bathrooms, and not washing their hands, all these shop doors, shop handles, there's more dirt and grime on them than there is on these books in here. But he was talking about how important it is to try and get people in. So even if you're not at that place in your life yet where you feel comfortable buying from charity shops, even taking books into here and giving them more books to put on shelf brings people in. And then people that come in browsing for books, these books only make them a few £100 a week. But then people that come in looking at books might also look at some higher ticket items. I'm guilty every time I go in at looking at books in here. I'm looking at kids' toys, looking at clothes. I picked up a jumper from here recently, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I very rarely buy brand new stuff. And it's same with books. Most of my brand new books that I've got are gifted to me. I've got no issues with buying brand new books. I think I bought a couple of books last week from Waterstones. But it's just something I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to work on buying pretty much all of my books, as I said before, from charity shops or borrowing from library. And if I love them, then I'll go to a shop and buy a physical copy. But some of them books in there were immaculate. I cannot tell you the amount of willpower it took me today to look at some of them books in there and walk away and not buy them. Because there were some books that I've actually got on my TBR, but non-physical, where I was like, oh, I need it. I've been looking for that. But I can't do it because that's part of the challenge, isn't it? So yeah, support your local charities. Hopefully this little snippet here has shown you how much of a difference you can make. So I really enjoyed this today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed, then why on earth not? Click that subscribe button now, because I just need more mates. I keep saying this. This family is building quick. I've only been doing these videos now for a few weeks properly, and I appreciate every single one of you that's come along. I think there's like 1,500 or so far, which I'm buzzing for. 1,500 people that don't even know me in real life care about what I've got to say. That is wild. On the topic of medication, I think I'm now 13 or 14 days off my sertraline. Things seem to be on the up a little bit. Of course, I still have bad days, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to speak to doctors and try and jump back on. But I just want to quickly touch on that before I go home. I got a lot of messages from people saying that they were scared to come off antidepressants or considering going on antidepressants. I just want you to remember that my journey is very personal to me, and I was scared to put my journey online, not because of me. I don't care what people think about my mental health or my life or the unaesthetic life that I live. But what I do care about is people looking at me as inspiration and thinking, right, Tyrone's got off meds, so I need to get off meds. Your medication journey, whether you're on them or off them at the minute, is very personal to you and your doctor. So please don't watch my videos and think, right, Tyrone's 14 days off and he's doing well. That don't mean that you're going to do well after 14 days off. You might need medication for a lot longer. You might need to be on medication for the rest of your life. Just please don't look at my journey as inspiration for you to start taking medication or getting off medication. Just speak to your doctor. What a day. We're done. I had no idea what to expect from this video. I thought it was quite fun. Insightful. I didn't realise that our book buying or selling or giving away decisions had such a large impact on charity shops. So yeah, really enjoyed that. I don't know what I'm going to do for content now though going forward, because I've said I'm not going to buy anything else. I will say, while I wrap up this video, before I decided to do this, I already have 2 parcels incoming from Vinted. So they're books that I already purchased. So from then, no more purchases. Anyway, this has been great fun. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you've watched till the end, I love you the most. And the other people that haven't watched till the end, they don't care that I've said that to you because they've not watched it anyway. So, yeah, I'm about done now. I'm going to go in, blow my nose, tidy the bedroom up because it's a right mess, and then have a cuppa, I think. Till next time.